and the ever-so-present Draven ban against Freeze. We've come to expect it, and now it is confirmed. Aurelia will follow through.
So far, absolutely nothing has changed in the ban strategy for either team. This is exactly the same order in which last time, if Vitality is still sticking to tradition, they'll ban the Trundle up next. But is that really something that you want to put high on your priority list when Odoamne, he has had one Trundle game, and that was actually one of their losses, so.
Yeah, it is kind of curious. I think the Caitlyn ban makes a lot of sense here, though, trying to deny Freeze as much as possible. But he still showed he could make some massive plays on the Ashe as well. And Ashe Zyra untouched this time, but H2k on the blue side, if they want to pick up a component of that, can be easily snatched away the other half on Vitality side. But the real question is H2k, their last ban, what's it going to be? They banned the Zillion.
Interesting. Very interesting ban towards Nukeduck.
I really don't think it had a lot of impact there for this team. I'm actually questioning that.
Well, it makes you wonder what H2k have in mind, because it could very well be that they want to now draft something that a Zillion would be very difficult to go up against. So it could be that they've come in with a plan for blue side in particular in this matchup, and they're basically saying, nope, we don't want to have to deal with Nukeduck Zillion, because he didn't actually play it bad. And you have to remember that one of the big reasons why H2k couldn't force things against Vitality was because of the ridiculous wave clear that Zillion did have available. So H2k have just basically said, we want to take that off the table, we don't want to give you that.
And the last ban for Vitality going to be Gragas. So Ashe Zyra still up. H2k thinking about their first pickup here. Do they opt for another jungle choice? Jungle relatively untouched outside of the Gragas pick, and it's not really a Jankos special either. I want to see if they decide to go there first.
Elise could be the priority here. It worked out very well for Jankos in game 1, and no reason why to change anything up in game 2. It provides you with great pick potential, really good early game pressure, and overall it just fits Jankos' playstyle of trying to be that heavy early game presence for H2k.
Yeah, I'm really letting this one all the way go down to the wire. The questions back and forth between Odoamne and Probably. Sticking away, last second they take the Ashe.
All right, so they're going to go for that pick potential once again. They also have the engage with the Ashe and Freeze. He definitely didn't have a bad game on it. His positioning was very good in game 1, and overall he's played that Ashe to perfection so far. So no reason not to first pick it. The big issue is you do leave a lot open for Vitality, so now you could very well see the return of the Elise on the side of Vitality. Maybe MightyBear wants to go for something a little bit more pick heavy, but the big thing is for Vitality is you now know that the Ashe is there once again, and you have to pick a composition that can build around the Ashe. You played against it. You've got one game clear in your mind. What is the big difference between game 1 and game 2 that you can now adapt to shut that Ashe down?
Well, so far, what you're predicting might be coming true. MightyBear had a couple of games on the Elise. They found victory in one of those so far. But is now the Zyra high enough priority to remove from Vander? That combination, oh so deadly. We haven't talked about mid laners though.
Completely forgot Vlad.
Boom, instant pickup for Nukeduck.
Wow, okay, that makes a lot of sense. We've been so focused on the top and the jungle that we completely forgot about the immensely powerful Vladimir. He wasn't even banned in the previous game.
Yeah.
And he still managed to make it through the pick and ban phase. So, does look like right now we wanted to see a little bit more aggression, early game power coming out from Vitality, and Vlad and Elise definitely the 2 picks to facilitate that.
Oh, absolutely. In Nukeduck, I mean, this is a guy who's maybe had some rough times in splits so far. He's not even got his hands on Vlad as of yet, so I cannot wait to see what this guy can make of it.
Wouldn't be surprised to see an Anivia come out from H2k, something that we've been seeing a lot of in LCK and a lot in general really is the go-to pick up against Vladimir. We saw it coming out from Senkirks last night and it worked very well. Anivia just an all-round good pick into that Vladimir, and Elise, you just need a jungler that can match the early game pressure, just like we saw from MightyBear in game 1. rek'sai is always a great pick into that.
Yeah, looks like the junglers will be swapped this time around. Jankos, he gets himself the rek'sai. And the Karma's locked in. So, could still very likely be the support, but I'm still holding out. Is Zyra even possible? I don't know if you really want to when there's a Vladimir, though, that can drain you dry.
You could put the Karma mid. We have seen it over in LCK. SKT in particular have been running that Karma mid. I'm actually a big fan of it. I think it's a better version of Lulu.
Better than the Lulu mid, that's for sure.
I think it's a better version of Lulu right now. So it's an option. It's one of the great things about Karma. You can flex it. But Vitality, they're looking right now for a bit of engage. They have wave clear. They have early game presence. So what they need now is a front line, and they need a way to force these fights.
Well, what they've got is even more backline poke. They've got the Bard locked in and the Jhin. So that'll be Police and kaSing's combo this game.
A lot of pick potential right here.
Oh yeah, if they can get a lockdown on the target, I mean, a lot of this is going to be on MightyBear. They can start to delete H2k members.
They certainly can. You have to remember that Bard does provide that engage with the ultimate. And not only that, with the Cosmic Binding and the use of the Magical Journey, you have so many ways to rotate around the map and find those potential picks, catch H2k out of position. But how often have we ever said, H2k, you guys need to sock in and call out of position, eh?
Not lately, that's for sure. I think this might have taken them by surprise a little bit. Odoamne very vocal on the mic there. They tried to decide what their last 2 picks will be on the side of H2k. Ryu as well.
Just trying to think right now for H2k. What are they lacking? Could be the mid and top.
Oh, yeah, Ryze made it through again, too.
Oh, wow. Okay, there are so many picks.
All the mid laners, Vetius.
That we completely forgot about. Mid lane, my role that I completely glossed over. So
they get that. Like, they get the Gnar.
Yeah, so powerful, well-rounded composition from H2k. Another scaling comp. Ryze definitely needs his items. Same for Ashe. They want to hit those 2 items spike before they really look to try and force a fight. But you've got a lot of single target damage. But overall, it's just very good team fighting in general because you have the rek'sai as a front line. The Gnar, Odoamne's Gnar in particular, just really good at soaking up a lot of damage and using that ultimate very effectively to set up his backlines to succeed. And then you have some great peel and great setup with the Karma as well. So H2k just very well. They have engaged, they have wave clear. Not as much as Vitality, but enough to get by. And disengage, engage, split push, team fight. They got it all.
Well, they can do just about everything, but the last question remaining in this pick ban is, what is Vitality going to finish? They've saved their Cabochard pick for last. The Fizz did not work out well last game, despite the repeated efforts. What is their answer to the Gnar in the top lane?
I could see an Aurelia coming here. Full Vitality. And it's... oh my word.
Holy Demacia. Okay, we got a Jarvan in this game. It just got interesting.
Okay. So we saw this in North America and had the joy of listening to Zyrene cast the one-shot from the full AD Jarvan that literally dived onto the backline and insta-killed the AD carry. So Cabochard, interested to see how he decides to itemize, but you do have very good team fighting from Vitality, and what the Jarvan ultimate's actually going to do is lock up Freeze, and because once his flash is down, he's not going to be able to escape. It's actually really good for Ryze and Ashe if you can lock them up into that Cataclysm to then allow the Vladimir to just get so much free damage down on the backline. You've also got the Curtain Call from Jhin to help clean up the fight, so a little bit more unitized, more towards that team fight with also a good amount of pick potential. But the thing that worries me is how squishy this lineup is for Vitality.
That's always a wonder. And if they can execute, though, maybe they don't need as much tankiness. This is so much lockup. This is so much power. They pulled out a card that I don't think a lot of people expected here. If you think Vitality can even this series up, hashtag VIT win. Do you believe in the Cabo Jarvan? Or H2k win if the boys from H2k will put this game away. A lot of powerful picks, a lot left open, and this game is going to be explosive as we load up onto Summoner's Rift for the final time here on the studio in the European LCS. Let's see how these teams face off.
Jarvan top. Really excited. Looking forward to this. I've seen it in solo queue. I've played it myself. It is high risk, high reward. That is the best way to define Jarvan.
Well, that's Cabochard pretty much in a nutshell, so these guys should be fine.
It's all about basically landing everything. You have to land everything. You cannot afford to miss a Q because the armor shred that it gives is far too valuable. And then when you follow that up with the ultimate into a happy slap with the staff, followed in by the Tiamat proc, it's just a one-shot, insta-kill. And you have that potential, especially onto an Ashe. There's no way Ashe is getting away from that.
Yeah, there's a few people you definitely want to catch on the Cataclysm, and there's a few you definitely don't. If it's Odo with the full Gnar bar, or it's Ryu once he's gotten up to speed on this Ryze, it pretty much very quickly becomes a, you're locked in here with me.
Yes.
And that is something that Cabo's going to have to be very careful about choosing his picks, choosing his targets, as Nukeduck and Ryze, or Nukeduck and...
Is he floating?
No, well, I mean, he's kind of posing. Nukeduck and Rio are having a bit of a dance-off to start things off, so it's good to see the two gentlemen getting along in the
lane
lane.
swaps being looked for by both teams right now. Trying to posture, see if either team is trying to rotate around to the other half of the map, and it looks like the Vitality going to get stuck in this 2 versus 2 once again. But it's a little bit easier to deal with. No Zyra this time for H2k. The Bard is going to be so much more annoying than the Karma will be. There's still a lot of poke. The big difference is you will have a little bit more sustain coming out from the Bard. And Jhin, very well known for being quite a dominant laner, so would give the 2 versus 2 edge ever so slightly in favor of Vitality for this one.
So for all the trickery, we end up with Australia lanes after all. Elise and kaSing already starting off dancing grenades onto Freeze's head. But it's raining Ashe arrows as well. So we've got a lot of wave clear to start things off. And with the standard lanes, we always want to check in on how the junglers are going to perform with the switch champions this time around. But we also have to keep note of another Infernal Drake spawning in the pit. It's the lucky day for the big red dragon.
It certainly is. It's interesting how, depending on the teams that we see play, will vary what dragon you get. Oh, 2 teams that like to play towards the late game. Let's give them an Infernal Drake. 2 teams that are trying to make stuff happen in the early game but can't. Let's give them a Cloud. Let's not force them to fight around the dragon. Let's just wait.
It's random.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. It's not scripted at all.
Definitely not. We don't use that word here. Starting things off, Nukeduck, he's built himself a small CS lead. But that really doesn't matter as much. The wave just keeps on pushing right back in favor of H2k. So Jankos, we get the Scuttle Crab vision early on, but very, very standard start, of course, with the duo lanes. No trickery here.
I can't hold my excitement about this Jarvan, man. I'm really excited to see this Jarvan. Just
wait till he hits 6, man. Then we got dunks.
Nah, mate. It's all about the 2-3 item spike, right? Once he has Ghostblade, Tiamat, he's just gonna one-shot that Ashe, and it's gonna be hype, super hype.
All right, I'll hold you to it. MightyBear, a roving he will go on the counter jungle, and Cabochard, he was already forced to flash away as Jankos came in. They traded there, so Jankos already tunneling in more ways than one on that bottom side, try and keep Cabochard down.
It does seem that they want to try and deny Cabo the opportunity to even get into a position where he can be that big hyper carry top laner. And the fact that so far he's already struggling in lane is going to be good for H2k trying to deny that from Vitality.
Well, he's often recognized as a big threat on this team, and this is one of the reasons we highlighted him so much coming into this matchup and what he could do against Odoamne. But so far, the Gnar has pretty much kept him in check. And, you know, creative picks, though, coming out of Cabochard. Kudos to him. Scientific process, you know, it's too easy to fall into. Let the meta dictate what you do rather than, no, I will dictate the meta.
It's pretty tough for him, though, in the 1 versus 1, simply because he's going up against the Gnar, who excels in most melee matchups because of his range advantage and because of the W. It's just so difficult to get around. So
starting to reflect in the farm as well.
It certainly is.
You know, with Jankos kind of moving in on him there, it's going to be a little bit problematic. You see the wave continually pushed in. At the very least, you want to worry about being ganked through the lane. Just have to keep the vision up in his own tri-brush to not get dove around. Let's check back in up in top, though, where there's actually a pretty sizable advantage for Police as Freeze and Vander had backed away and picked up double longsword.
So Freeze and Vander have actually been trying to play in a similar way to how they play in Game 1, where they just put a lot of pressure down. Police doesn't have that much wave clear, and when you think about a Karma and an Ashe, it's actually very easy for them to just very quickly clear out these minion waves. And so they tried to force Police to lose out on farm during the early game, and unfortunately for them, they have not been as successful as they would have liked, and Police has done a fantastic job of farming underneath the turret.
Oh, absolutely. It's definitely not off to a shabby start on this Jhin. Still fairly quiet early game, and that's kind of what we come to expect from these two teams. Want to play it out slow, want to play it out methodical. But H2k, this time in the game, had already amassed a little bit of a lead. Now, not so much. Vitality leading the way in CS, 40-30. Factor of, well, not factor, but an amount of 10 advantage. And as I say it, no longer the case because they push it right into the wave, and Freeze is able to capitalize on it. Both junglers, though, more so MightyBear, been a little bit quiet. There was the attempt down bot by Jankos, but he hasn't made his return just yet. It's been difficult because Cabochard is playing so close to the vest, staying under tower. Jankos, though, is getting his counter jungle on. It's just being matched by MightyBear.
It certainly is. It looks like the Jankos wants to prioritize denying Cabochard as much as possible, spending so much time in the bottom half of the map. MightyBear is going to lose out on all of his jungle. nothing that he is going to be able to do about it. So what he's going to try and do instead is get some vision around this Infernal Drake. It's a very important dragon early on, and he wants to make sure that he has at least some control over it so that H2k can't pick it up for free like they did in the first game of the series. Yeah,
so he grabs himself the vision there, investing very early on. Vitality at least learning that lesson. kaSing comes back from his chime hunting expedition. Nails the Cosmic Binding onto Vander, but Police, he's kind of caught under fire under this turret here. He's going to need to be calling for backup pretty soon.
He is indeed a Rooney, as right now we're just getting slow, simple, standard lanes. MightyBear trying to invade a little bit aggressively on H2k. He knows that that red buff is going to be spawning relatively soon, so he wants to see if he can steal that one away, but what's important here for Vitality is that they actually know where Jankos is. Nukeduck, he's continuing to play aggressively in the middle lane. In the bottom, Cabochard is looking to try and shove Odoamne underneath the turret. Have a look at this from Nukeduck. They're actually making rotation down. There's a big minion wave hitting the tower, and they might want to go for a dive.
Oh, Jankos and Odo might be caught under here, but the wave isn't big enough. Looks like Vitality are thinking twice about that. They back off.
It was smart from Vitality to back away from that one. The idea was good, but it would have gone horribly wrong, especially a level 6 Gnar who's got a full-on Gnar bar. With Jankos providing support, you're asking for failure trying to go for that.
Yeah, and the double TP advantage too. It's something we didn't talk about as much this start of the game, but Vitality are still running on a single teleport, with Ryu having one as well in the mid lane.
Yeah, I'm actually not a fan of that. I do understand why you would take Ghost on the Vladimir. There's no hard crowd control. Even Cabochard's ultimate, you can flash out of it, as opposed to something like a stun, which you can't flash from. So Nukeduck wants to take the Ghost to be able to actually get into these fights, but it does mean that you're going to lose a lot of global pressure. And if you just think about Ryu, who's going to be building pretty tanky, he should be able to hold Cabochard in a side lane if he needs to, but Nukeduck will still be able to 1v1 the Ryze, even in the later stages of play. What he won't be able to do is join the rest of his team if Ryu decides to make a teleport play.
Yeah, and that is where the advantage lies for H2k, having more options for themselves, making sure they can clear a path to victory. Fairly big advantage in CS for Odoamne. Now he has had a little bit of help from Jankos, but teleport, or rather flashes all back up. Police and kaSing, well, they've got themselves quite a lot of hot cups of cocoa. They're going to need it, having to sit under that tower for a while Freeze and Vander keep them penned up. Everything else on every other front still been a little bit more quiet. Ryu and Nukeduck continuing to trade farm, but Nukeduck slightly getting the better of that. And now the game hasn't been broken open just yet, but with the Infernal Drake at the pit, H2k have to keep their eyes on it here. Let's see what happens, though, with MightyBear close up to the top side. Started his back, though.
He did put a couple pings down, but Vitality identified that there were wards around. I like this from kaSing, walking up aggressively to suggest that a gank might be coming out. H2k immediately back up, realize that this isn't how Vitality typically play the 2 versus 2. So then, what he does is he spams his laugh, because they react defensively to what was a bit of a bait and switch.
It's hard to tell when a Bard is walking aggressively at you, because he just looks so friendly all the time. Look at that guy. Oh, Temper Fate. Whoa, quick flash from Vander. Freeze isn't so lucky. In comes Jankos, instant teleport. And that is a big nope turnaround by Vitality. They get 2 TPs out of a Tempered Fate.
Both teams
or one TP, excuse me.
Ryu taking a lot of damage.
Yeah, Ryu's still there. Okay, they got a flash new TP. Never mind what I was talking about, because Ryu started to machine gun down the Vlad, but MightyBear, look at this, using his Elise Spiderlings, tanking up. He's getting a solo dragon. I love this, 10 minutes into the game. And he secured it up to Vitality, taking that away from H2k. No chance to contest.
Very smart play from Vitality to pick up that objective. They knew that Jankos was in the top half of the map, and as a result, that was going to be a free objective for Vitality to pick themselves up. So with the Infernal Drake being picked up early, that's going to transition nice as flash.
Whoa, for flash. Ryu, quick on the fingers, pulls back from MightyBear. Still a nice attempt. Jungler trading the mid flash, and Odoamne pushing and herding a wave of minions here up to the tower. As Cabochard was away, they can keep on pushing for free.
Certainly can. As Cabochard right now returning back down into the bottom lane, wants to soak up as much farm as he can, but this CS discrepancy is really starting to develop between the 2 top laners. And Cabo, he's not at a point yet where he can really go for the all-in onto Odoamne. He has not completed that, what is that to be the Ghost Blade? Is Nukeduck getting rooted up on the turret?
Yeah, Nukeduck, he's going to go ahead and cool, gets himself out of tower aggro. And a nice cup of hot cocoa. They caught Jankos, though. A clutch cocoon. First blood comes in out of nowhere. MightyBear sinking the fangs. And this is going to open up Vitality to try their luck on the turret.
Big misplay from Jankos. He was not expecting that collapse down from Vitality. Ryu gets binded up.
Oh, it's take two. Looking for Ryu. Exhaust is on. And Nukeduck will finish the job. Vander can't really do much else except clear the wave away. Vitality with a big play early game.
Vitality get themselves 2 early kills in what was a big misplay from H2k. Jankos is the guy that gets caught out first, followed up by Ryu overstaying underneath the turret. And you and I were talking about how Jankos, not so much the first blood king, but more like the giver of first bloods as we move into the spring split, summer split.
Yeah, well, even in the spring split, we're definitely seeing our share of those. So Jankos, he was not able to save his own skin here. Let's see how it all began. Actually, no, this is just going to be the replay. So never mind, it's the first play.
Good side steps coming out from Ryu. Jankos, he goes in aggressively, eats the cocoon, followed by the cosmic binding. Ryu thinks he's fine, still trying to act as some wave clear, but what he doesn't respect is the cooldowns of Vitality is in the bottom lane.
Big Gnar, Cabochard, he's going to find, he's all the way back to Fountain, and MightyBear at his back did not have enough to keep him alive. Just jumps up to dodge away from the boulder, but it was not going to be enough to keep him alive. Odo and Jankos dodging out of the Tempered Fate. And they answer kill for kill, evening the game right back up.
Squishy, squishy Jarvan. This is the big risk that you run when going up against the very powerful Gnar in the early game. If you get bullied around, there is very little that you're going to be able to do about it. Hopefully we get a replay as Nukeduck goes aggressive onto Ryu.
Full flash, Tides of Blood, and this is bold. He's going to pool, so Ryu just can't keep hitting him. They have the damage, and Police, he was only tagged for a second, ends up being kaSing, who kills the Ryze. Ryu finding a lot of pressure in his lane this game. Vitality once again in the lead.
Even though Ryu gives away a kill in the mid, Freeze is able to take that tier 1 turret up in the top lane, and Vitality, they're not going to have enough damage or the minion wave to be able to take that tier 1 in the mid. So have a look at Cabo. He's been chunked out by Odo. Cabo has his spidey senses tingling. He's aware that a jungler might be around, so he looks for the disengage. But he uses his Q preemptively, so he's not able to escape. He forces the flash, but it doesn't matter. The response from Odo is enough to get the lockdown, get the kill, and then they just get up the follow-up chase onto MightyBear. So it was simply a matter of Cabochard overstaying when he shouldn't have. He was mindful of the fact that the gank might come out from H2k, but unfortunately his greed for farm overcame his natural senses of danger.
Well, you know the old saying, when you greed, you just might feed. We're 13 minutes into this game. Vitality,
that's an old saying?
It is an old saying. It's an old league saying. Come on, man, weren't you around in beta?
Beta? No. I came out.
I wasn't either, actually. I just wanted to say that.
I came out when Brand was released. That's
okay.
That's when I was out. So that's like late season 1, I think.
Yeah, it's a little bit before me. I was more of a Skarner kind of guy.
Oh, Skarner.
Yeah, good times.
I remember his release.
He hasn't changed much in all honesty. A little bit, but you know. Anyways, back into this one. Vitality, fully even on the gold. And they have one more kill back in the bank ahead, but they're still making these mistakes, and the Jarvan is yet to come to fruition. Yes, he was held back. There's been a lot of pressure from Jankos on him, even as far as diving into the second tier turret, but Vitality are still making some of these mistakes. Kudos to them, though, for keeping the pace even with H2k. They've still got a lot of problems, though, the longer this game goes. I mean, there's a Ryze, and they can set up some seriously big plays on the side of H2k.
Bear in mind that the gold is even right now, even though H2k have a turret lead, so that's still a positive spin on it in favor of Vitality. They also have the Infernal Drake, with the Cloud Drake being the next Drake to spawn. Even if they lose this dragon, it's not going to be a massive deal for Vitality.
No, that's true.
So even though right now, a bit of a trough in terms of their power spike, it's not going to be too bad. Once Police completes the second big item, as well as Nukeduck working towards what I imagine will be, Arrow?
Quick flash away from Police. So, again, Summoner traded away for the ultimate, but he was a dead man had he not gone right in there. So, Nukeduck and Ryu have taken their fight to a new front up in the top side. And Nukeduck's gone for a very defensive build as well, too. We talked about the Proto Belt being kind of, well, we didn't talk about the Proto Belt, but the Proto Belt has been kind of the new hotness for Vlad right now. But when you're up against a Ryze, Spirit Visage first, going into Merc Tread boots, I mean, that is a lot of magic resist, especially in a team that's got an Ashe, and that's got a Gnar, and a rek'sai for AD.
We saw this in the first game as, Freeze, he's been caught.
Frozen in time for just a sec, quickly comes out of stasis, flashing away, and they clear the wave as well. Vitality immediately peel off his 5 members.
Easy way to burn a flash on an AD carry, and quickly Vitality rotate around to the Drake. They're going to want to pick this one up. They might lose a bit of damage down on the tier 1 turret in the mid, but fortunately, the minion wave hasn't hit the tower yet, so Vitality, I think that's just overall a very clean play, and they're going to get an easy objective off the back.
Yeah, not as bad. Absolutely, despite the fact that they looked like they might be able to pick up a few kills. You can see Jankos, Ryu hovering up towards this top side, but not much of a minion wave to speak of, so they won't be able to get much more than a little bit of chip damage on this tower. Cabochard, he's hanging out here, but his spidey senses are tingling once again.
They certainly are. He throws out the
flag.
Yeah.
That is a great way to check rushes.
It certainly is.
Not with your face, with your flags.
So I actually want to keep an eye out on what Cabo has decided to max. He is going to go for his Dragon Strike first, followed up by the Demacian Standard, which is pretty conventional. The armor penetration that you get on the Q is great. And we could see once again the sort of arm pen build that we heard Deficio and Crupper talk about on the desk earlier on in our first series of the day, where you basically just build heavy penetration. And it's often seen on the Jhin, so he's likely to go towards the Ghost Blade, which he has just
Speaking
popped.
of,
yeah.
Right on time.
Yeah, and the penetration build is just really good for just, well, as it suggests, shredding through that armor. And it's quite a novel build that we have been seeing recently, largely due to the rise in popularity of Black Cleaver and Ghost Blades. And they just synergize so well together, really.
Absolutely. The way things have been changing since, we pretty much hit the mid-seed. It's opened up a lot of interesting possibilities. Back in this game, though, Vitality, they're still a little bit down in the gold department. They just need to start getting some towers, in all honesty. They have yet to knock one down to the 2 that H2k have managed to acquire. However, a pair of dragons, one of them Infernal, definitely going to help them out the later the game goes. Nukeduck finding Ryu. Again, these guys have been in every lane 1v1.
This matchup is just,
it will
gets
never
to
end.
A point, literally where it never ends, because both of them have so much sustain. Every time Ryze pops his ultimate, he gets all that health back. Then Vladimir is just Vladimir, where he literally always gets health back. So neither of them can kill each other. It's literally just like, it's the wet noodle fight of mid lane.
Yeah. Oh, MightyBear, fancy stepping. Get out of the Ashe arrow. Weren't a lot of H2k members there available to collapse, however. 18.5 minutes, and we do see still this continued 1v1. Nukeduck is taking a lot of damage, continues to be put into Rune Prison, but he answers right back. And just, yep, that fight doesn't end.
That trade resulted in 0 net gain for either mid lane. Vlad, what a fun champion.
You don't sound salty at all.
No, I actually think he's a very fun champion. I enjoy playing it.
I'm glad you were being completely serious. Now, small laps here. Vitality have been allowed to actually get a bit more damage on the turret, but will they pay for it? There's a teleport in the back. MightyBear going very low. Odoamne, a quick tempered fate to stop it. kaSing might just pay for it with his life. He's still a roving, but Vander will finish him off.
Really good collapse coming out from H2k, utilizing that double teleport to finally get the pick down onto Vitality. They now have the numbers advantage, and this Jarvan just can't find an opening.
But it's curtain call. Police trying to force them away. Tower under siege, but no more minions, and Odo has no more Gnar. That is a huge shot, but they don't have enough to finish the job. The flourish is dodged. And Vitality defend once again, though. They're put on the back foot after what looked like a great engage.
So have a look at this. Vitality, 4 members strong, try to siege down into mid lane. Remember that the Vladimir has no teleport, and this was something that you alluded to very early on. There is no way for the Vladimir to join this fight, and Vitality quickly gets split up. kaSing is the target that Vitality choose to collapse upon. And without his flash available, and without any exhaust to mitigate any of the damage, it's simply an easy pickup for Vitality, and it's all due to taking advantage of that double TP.
Yeah. May not have had the teleport, but bless Nukeduck's heart, he was trying to get to lane as fast as he possibly could. Eventually got the ghost pop off, but advantage H2k. Still 3-3 in kills. Small CS, or small goal differential, I should say, despite the 2 towers. Vitality, they're the ones with the dragons, but this game is already much, much more even. And scaling-wise, I mean, yeah, the Ryze and the Vlad just keep matching each other. Nukeduck, though, he's found some free time on this bottom tower. Ryze is rushing down to him, but kaSing's coming in for backup.
Does look like Nukeduck. He's taking a lot of damage.
That's a lot. Turns his attention again, but no more minion wave, and this time it's Ryu who prevails. Despite the level disadvantage, he stayed under tower a little bit too long.
So Ryu finally getting in a position where he can out-trade the Vladimir, which is something that we're very rarely going to say throughout this game.
Yep.
As
Vander.
the flash out of Vander.
This whole game is flashes for ultis.
Yeah.
Who has the best?
Typically, the ultimate trade for a flash is always good because the ultimate's going to come off cooldown significantly faster than the flash roll.
Yep.
But Cabo being forced to use his teleport here, that is not good for Vitality. That's really going to limit their plays. And to be honest, this Jarvan I was very hyped for, was really excited to see, but not living up to my hype.
Yeah, so far he's really been kept in check quite a lot by Odoamne with a little bit of help, courtesy of Jankos, but hasn't had a whole lot to do, and it makes you question, again, the draft priority. Vitality, they're a team that likes to create, they're a team that likes to experiment, but when you just don't have enough in the tank to play what everyone else is playing, these creative picks just aren't doing enough for them. Jankos here is waiting out in the brush. Go back down to bottom lane, though, and you see Nukeduck still losing out on these trades, but everybody's itching for a fight in that topside jungle right now. It looks like it's not going to happen.
So Ryu is starting to win out on these trades simply because of the item advantage that he has. Roa and Archangel Staff both completed for that Ryze, compared to only the Spirit Visage of Nukeduck and the needlessly large rod. So Nukeduck can't really keep up now because Ryu's pretty much hit his power spike. And until what I imagine will be the Ryze comes out from Nukeduck, he won't be able to trade back as effectively as he has been throughout this game so far.
Can't believe the outers are still standing, considering how much attention the teams have been paying to them this game. Really, really massive amount of wave clear on either side to just keep on poking away, taking down, and preventing the siege, despite H2k's repeated attempts to nearly get it. Now, Vitality, though, because Nukeduck can't continue the siege the way he wanted to, this is going to open up, or actually they're still going to be able to take this dragon away, but look at, I guess they're not really giving up a whole lot for it.
Nope. Clean and easy pickup for Vitality. That is their third Drake of the game. They have had full control over the dragon so far. But H2k haven't really needed to contest because the only one they were really interested in was the first one. And they would rather get this deep vision down, set up plays for around the Baron, look for potential picks, as opposed to contesting what is simply the Ocean Drake that tends to lose value as the game progresses. So it's not that surprising from H2k. They're basically saying, nah, it's cool. You can have it.
And we've talked about the gold being relatively even as another Ashe arrow flies south. This tower should be picked off finally by H2k. They've gotten all the outers, and Vitality have been able to contest, but the gold, we got to take a look at where it is on these teams. And in the AD carry department, this Ashe, better CS. They've had, obviously, a little bit of global from the towers, and that's resulted in like 1,000 differential going over to Freeze, and he's just going to be a little bit more powerful than Police in that regard. Between Ryu and Nukeduck, it's actually in favor of Nukeduck, but that hasn't really netted him much because of the Ryze power spike.
Well, now he's got the Ryze, so he should fare a little bit better, but he's actually been very smart by going to side lanes when H2k haven't been there, so he's getting a lot of damage down onto these tier 1 turrets, but he's very mindful of the fact that he doesn't have teleport. And now that H2k have already got that teleport back up, they could look to set up a play somewhere around the map once more. They could look to capitalize on the mispositioning of Vitality, who are probably going to be more aware of that double teleport now that they've already experienced what it's like firsthand.
You would certainly hope. So, next dragon is everybody's favorite, Cloud Drake.
Woohoo!
Thank you, Fedius.
You're welcome.
Appreciate it. Freeze stopped up for just a second. This tower still holding strong. Vitality, they've been able to have so many chances on this, but H2k tenaciously defending time and time again. And Vitality just can't get a single tower on the game. Big Gnar in the bottom lane, continuing to give Cabochard a hard time. It's hard to see, despite the closeness of the game, what opening Vitality can get to break into it. It seems like they need a fight. How are they going to do it?
Jarvan, Flash, EQ, one-shot Ashe. Easy.
Okay, waiting for it.
You just need to set it from the Bard, really. The problem is for Vitality is, yes, they've gotten flashes using the Bard ultimate, but then they've never tried to capitalize on the fact that Freeze has had no flash, Vander's had no flash, and as a result, Vitality have looked like they're going to set up a good play, and then they never actually do. So it tends to be this very slow game where Vitality are playing against all 5 summoner spells, or 10 summoner spells of H2k. So every time Vitality want to try and punish the weaknesses of H2k, they can't, because these summoner spells are still available.
I think that's a really, really big point for Vitality, because it's not just that they're playing a slow game, that they're waiting and biding their time, but that they're afraid to pull the trigger, and they take too long, they hesitate, and then all of a sudden, even if you had an advantage because you forced a few summoner spells for a Bard ulti, say, you don't use that timing window. And it's just the kind of little things that Vitality just have not been able to do And this is what a team like H2k will beat them on every time.
Does seem that way is Ryu. Again, trading back and forth with Nukeduck, but Nukeduck...
Oh boy, he keeps on turning the tension around. Ryu, Tides of Blood, Rune Prison, flashes forward to get the pop, and he's gone in with the pool, forcing Ryu's flash. So they may not die, but they certainly can trade summoner spells.
Rylai's Power Spike, yes, it looked initially quite bad for Nukeduck, but the great thing is about Crimson Rush is you gain more health the more that you lose, and when you stack that with the healing from your ultimate, that Vladimir is deceptively strong, so the moment you get through your ammunition on Machine Gun Ryze, you're kind of left stranded because you've got nothing left to fire out the barrel.
Nukeduck, meanwhile, can just keep on plugging away. So, the tables turn a little bit in that 1v1. It's been all over the map. These two have seen and done just about everything the Rift has had to offer. As we're 26 minutes into this game, Nukeduck will finally get his team a tower. 400 gold in his pocket, but Jankos is keen to make him pay. In comes the pool, avoids the Queen's Wrath, and now he's on the retreat path. In comes Ryu. Jankos the flash, the knock up, the cage. Can they keep him down? Odoamne coming in around the side. This is 3 members, and kaSing says, see ya, dude.
Unfortunately for Vitality, they overcommit for a turret once again, and now 4 members to the 5 of H2k mean that they are going to look to try and force a fight. Police, oh no.
That was a quick flash. Magical Journey gets him back to safety, but MightyBear not on the same page as his team. He could be caught here. Spooky Ghosts just dissuade him from going even far forward, and the boomerang unfortunately does not go through the journey.
So, unfortunately for Nukeduck, he did end up giving away his life, but because H2k they want to try and force the fight, they have decided to go for the Baron as well. There comes the Tempered Fate.
Stops Ryu, stops the Baron for a second. Vitality, they bought a few more moments, but where is MightyBear? He can't come and contest. Curtain call, but it doesn't matter. The Baron smited. H2k advantage.
Very clean from H2k. They knew that they had managed to force MightyBear back. There was no smite available on Vitality. Nukeduck didn't have teleport to join the fight. And because of that one pick, H2k have just ran away with this advantage. And this is absolutely massive for H2k. What looked like an opportunity for Vitality, given that Nukeduck was now starting to push Ryu out of the side lane. Vitality were getting into a spot where maybe they could go for this 1-3-1 that H2k wouldn't be able to deal with, but after giving away that Baron, suddenly H2k are back in control.
Yep, and Vitality get themselves caught. MightyBear, he can't make the escape, but in comes Cabo, gets the dunk on, but not enough damage onto Odoamne. MightyBear's gonna have to flash back on out. In comes Nukeduck, Hemo play, but he is 1v4. Heals himself right back up. And Vitality will get out of here after trying to make a big play in the H2k jungle and wiping off a few Baron buffs unsuccessfully.
So that's a lot of summoner spells burnt, that's a lot of ultimates burnt, and now H2k, they realize that they have the advantage, so they're going to try and use this Baron buff to their advantage.
But Vitality, they did get some gold infusion by knocking down now all 3 of the outers, but H2k are tunneling on the inner turrets, taking one uncontested here. Vitality were not in position to push them back. 29 minutes, the game started to get a lot more exciting. 2k gold advantage may not seem like much, but H2k now still leading the charge, and they should be able to pick up this Cloud Drake with relative ease.
That will be the first dragon for H2k, finally in their favor. And what a dragon to pick up. That Cloud Drake, they're going to be so happy with that. You can feel the enthusiasm radiating from them.
Woo!
Woohoo!
There we go. Can I get a woohoo?
All
right, only one, fine.
Zhonya's now finished for Nukeduck, so he's going to be a little bit harder to kill. But the problem is for Nukeduck is he's never really been in the right place at the right time. I can understand the Ghost, but so far he has not been able to make that Ghost work. And this double TP is really working out nicely for H2k.
Oh yeah, they're able to knock down the tower, dodging out of the Tempered Fate in the meantime. 5 towers to 3, it's just been knocking them down like dominoes for both teams so far, but Vitality, they were only able to cash in at the last moment. Ryu really starting to machine gun this down. Holy moly, Nukeduck. He's got himself some minions to clean up as well. He actually has that pretty big CS differential advantage in his favor, but still, it doesn't matter if Ryu isn't quite as big as him. They are doing so much more as a team on the side of H2k. Big advantages, but Vitality still have a fighting chance in this game.
Well, we still got 10 minutes left of this game.
Yeah, at least if statistics are to be believed. Predictions?
I think it's for H2k, they have so many ways to start a fight as well. And they have enough of an advantage that they could quite easily force the plays, but they're just so mindful of this Jarvan. They don't want to give him an opportunity to just one-shot the Ashe and suddenly swing the fight in Vitality's favor. And Vitality, as you mentioned earlier, they're just afraid to pull the trigger. Where is this Bard ultimate coming out?
Yeah.
Where's the flank from Cabo?
Well, they're using it to set up catches, and then it's not available when the 5v5 looks to happen. And, you know, there's not a whole lot for them to try and take on the map right now, but they keep sitting in these brushes. That's never going to work when you have Hawkshot able to find you every single time.
Vitality. A team that used to be so aggressive, had Shook in the jungle, brought on MightyBear.
Still had long games, though.
They did still have long games. But they just seem to be... I don't know how to describe them, Pyro. I don't know how to describe them. Just not the same. It's not the same, man. You weren't there. Well, I wasn't there.
They're still searching. I'm sure you were watching. They were still searching for an identity, right? This is a team that had some switchovers, not just coming into the split with Police and MightyBear. They also... I'm not even going to talk about this one because this is just going to last forever. Yeah, that's fine. Go right back to...
They won't die,
back to my point. Back to my point. They've also swapped in Raya and then swapped him out again. This team's still searching for answers, still trying to find an identity here. And when everyone else knows who they are and you're still trying to do it, you're going to be behind the 8 ball. Vitality, they've managed to pick up 1-2-0. They've shown they're not bottom of the table, but you know, that's just not good enough for a team that we lauded as a super team in Europe coming into last split. Let's see what Cabo can do. Ghostblade popped on Odoamne. No Narbar. Nukeduck is coming. Oh, a quick flash out of the Cataclysm, but Odo might be finished. They're pinging onto Ryu. They know he's here, but it took everything in the tank to get the 2v1.
So 3 items completed for Cabochard, and you're now starting to see this top lane Jarvan come into his own. Yes, you are right. It was not that easy to shut down Odoamne, but still with the added damage on top of Nukeduck and having to burn both of his summoners, they're able to get themselves a kill, and now they're looking for more.
Yep, all of a sudden, Revitalized, Tempered Fate will not connect onto Vander. Golds out the ward, but Vander speeds himself up and Spire along the way. Freeze was able to get out of dodge as well. Not a whole lot for Vitality to take. There's no Baron for 2 more minutes. There's no Dragon for several more minutes. And there are no outer towers. Vitality, they seem to be low on options. And Nukeduck gets found. See if he can trade it right back onto Ryu. Very low, but it's always deceptive. Tides of Blood. He's got some help. In comes the Curtain Call after Hemo Plague. Teleport coming in. They just keep trying for the constant collapse. And Ryu will finally drop. Police gets the credit. And it is another kill for Vitality.
So Dracula finally beats out Gandalf, and he needed a bit of extra help, but Nukeduck finally getting that kill. Oh no, the kill actually went down onto Police, and Vitality getting that pick down onto Ryu could actually spring a small spoke of hope for Vitality coming back into this game.
Certainly could. This is Dracula versus Gandalf on Netflix. I don't think I've ever seen that one, to be honest.
Well, from what we've seen so far, it's a pretty slow and boring fight.
Apparently, they take quite a while. And Odoamne, he's caught again, but here comes Cabo. He's able to hop out, though. They couldn't get enough in the Cataclysm. Nukeduck tanking way too many shots. He's going to have to get his cool on. Instantly, Magical Journey. Bailout, boys. This ain't going to work.
So, H2k, they still have some fight left in them. They're going after kaSing. He gets rooted up.
Oh, but they stopped Jankos and Vander. Odo, he's throwing the boulder. Frozen Penguin. Back to kaSing. Another Cosmic Binding. They still keep chasing Cabochard. Vitality, the rest of this team, they're trying to just get the hell out of here. But there's an Ashe arrow all the way up.
Oh no!
Oh no, he Tempered Fates himself! That's not going to be where he wanted. kaSing through the journey, taken by Odo. MightyBear nowhere to go. He comes up, but must come down. 2 kills in revenge on H2k.
That could not have gone worse for Vitality. kaSing ulting himself. Oh, how unfortunate. Oh man, and with the Baron spawning in 10 seconds, those are long death timers, and Vitality, they finally get the pick that they needed. Things were looking so promising for them, and now H2k, they're just going to get themselves a Baron and quickly reclaim control of this game.
Oh, Vitality just didn't have enough, and they stayed too long. H2k able to hunt them down. Now, with the Baron nearly down, it's Curtain Call for Police, trying to get a miracle hit, but it will not happen. 5 members, H2k, all securing the Baron. And here we'll have the replay of how this all went down.
So Vitality trying to disengage. H2k know that the Ashe arrow is coming back up, so they want to keep on with the chase. And kaSing, just a bit of a misclick. You could tell what he was trying to do with the Tempered Fate, but with the Ashe arrow hitting him, perhaps it just threw off his sense of balance, threw off his aim, who knows. But in either way, what we do know is that Vitality gave away 2 kills, they gave away the Baron, and they wanted to try and pick up that Infernal, but unfortunately they just couldn't.
Yeah, Elder rather. It's hit the Rift as well, but H2k are not interested at all. Look at the damage Freeze was able to put out in that fight, and they find MightyBear again with the Ashe arrow. Tempered Fate's on. It does not hit MightyBear, but he's got nowhere to go. Cabochard last effort around the backside. Freeze was in the tomb, or rather in the Cataclysm, but it wasn't going to be enough. They take down MightyBear, and Cabochard is dropped. Freeze getting revenge. They take down Nukeduck. It's only Police and kaSing. There's not enough backup for Vitality.
And those are very long death timers. Police, he doesn't have his flash anymore. And H2k, with this minion wave, with the Baron, are likely going to close this series out in a 2-0 fashion.
Well, it wasn't 40 minutes. They've decided to bring the pace up a little quicker here. 9-5 in kills, 6 towers to 3. They got everything on the Rift that wasn't named Dragon, and now they'll finish the Nexus turrets off. 36.5 minutes in, a dominating performance from one of our top teams here in Europe. H2k take out the Nexus and crush Vitality.
Vitality.